Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Welcome into WGNS and the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herzier, founder and executive director of First Shot. I want to welcome in a longtime friend that has really changed and helped me change how I viewed First Shot, how I approached it. Bobby Griggs, he is vice president of Heritage Steel. And Bobby, we met through a mutual friend, David Hoke, that got us to sit around a table with some other leaders in town that kind of shaped, I think, all of us in a way. Talk about what that meant to us, and then we're going to get a little bit back into your background.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, Andy, I just want to say thank you for having me with you. You've been a dear friend and a great mentor to me. I think it's been mutual for both of us for quite a few years now, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you and what you've done for this community, for sure. But yeah, there was a group of 5 men that got together and ended up being a really kind of an informal meeting that we did on a quarterly basis, with a few folks, and it kind of grew into something that was both powerful emotionally, spiritually for our families, and then ultimately our businesses, and what we did in the community for either with working with local sports groups or whatever it may be. And so I can't tell you how much I appreciated that group and getting around a table on a quarterly basis with you guys all these years.
So Bobby, talk about where you grew up, a little bit about your family so that people can get to know you a little bit.
Yes, sir. Well, I love Murfreesboro and the Smyrna and Rutherford County area, but I am not from here. I'm from South Nashville. So early on, definitely felt like an outsider in the area. Grew up in South Nashville, went to Overton High School, played football and baseball there. Was a lot of fun. We had a lot of great teams back then, a lot of really good guys that really were kind of my mentors. I always talk about this with my players today. When I was a kid growing up, kind of my heroes were the high school athletes that were, 10 years older than you. You always looked up to them. You went to all the games and watched them play and watch how they acted. And still to this day, I still look up to a lot of those fellas.
So, again, moving forward, college, where did you go? How did you get there?
Yeah. So I was really fortunate, growing up that, early on playing sports really shaped my life in a big way. Had a lot of great men and women invest a lot of time and energy into me. Sports became a huge part of my life. Mom and dad stayed on me on academics, and because of that, as I was migrating my way through high school, got a lot of opportunities to visit some schools, and then one of them showed up at a baseball tournament down in Florida. It was Yale University. Didn't really know. I knew they were a great school, obviously, but really didn't know a lot about them. Took a visit when I was a senior, ended up going to school there and spent 4 years, and wouldn't change it for anything. It was an incredible ride, and got to play for a gentleman named John Stuper, and he retired last year. Spent 30 years there, which is kind of unheard of in college athletics, and I appreciate Coach Stuper and hope he's enjoying retirement in South Florida now.
So talk little bit about your immediate family, your wife, your 2 children, and where they are, where they're going.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so been really blessed with a great family. Met my wife selling cookware door to door when I was in college. I took a job in the summers because I wanted to play ball and needed to make money because we're kind of a middle-class family, and started selling cookware door to door, which is a crazy thing to think about, and met my wife Erica doing that, and we had a long-distance relationship for 3 of my 4 years of college, and then we had a son, Hayden, in 2004. He has been been playing ball as well. Ended up playing baseball at LeTourneau University for Paul Phillips in Texas, Longview. And then my daughter, recently graduated from Central Magnet, McKenna. Incredible young lady, incredible cheerleader.
That Old Miss stuff.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
There's a lot. It's amazing to me how many young men and women from here go to Old Miss. But you said something, and now it picks my brain.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what you learned door to door selling cookware, and how has it maybe shaped your thoughts on? Because you're one of the entrepreneurs that I look up to. I think you're one of the smart guys in this area.
Well, I tell you, it's not some bright light moment, but honestly, probably what I learned most from door-to-door direct selling in people's homes is hard work matters. And what I mean by that is when I first started selling cookware, in most other areas of my life, I was fortunate to find success relatively quickly. So athletically, I was able to find success pretty easily. And academically, I was able to find success pretty easily. Not that it didn't require work, and not that I didn't have to get better, but I had better attributes in those areas of my life. And when I started selling, I was terrible, Andy. And I tell everyone this, not a little bit bad, but really, really bad at it. And I went 27 presentations in a row when I first started selling cookware door to door without a sale. And I'll never forget when I broke the streak. It was at my friend's family's house. Danny Walker. It was on Brewer Drive in Nashville, Tennessee. It was about 10:30 at night, and I had done my whole presentation selling cookware. And at the end of it, I think they felt so bad for me. They bought 2 pairs of kitchen shears from me, scissors, and I've been showing them nothing but cookware. And I think they just found the 2 cheapest things they could in the book just to help me. And, that night, I didn't realize that I was making a commitment to cookware, but what I made a decision that night was that I wasn't going to quit that summer. And when I made that decision to not quit, then the rest of the time I spent trying to figure out how to get better versus spending all of that time trying to figure out if I should be doing this or not. And so once I released my mind to the task at hand versus all the emotional gymnastics that I had to do of whether I was in the right field or not, I got a lot better over time. And that was a great lesson for me.
So perseverance was one of the lessons you also learned.
Yeah, perseverance for sure. And there's a lot of folks now talking about, burn the boats and, separate yourself and make a decision and then spend the rest of your time making it right. And I appreciate all those, one-liners that we try to remember. But that was a real world experience where once I just decided, I made a decision okay, selling cookware door to door is not easy. I'm not good at it. This is not fun. But I made a commitment, and I'm not gonna backtrack on this commitment. My dad taught me that very early on. If you make a commitment, see it through to the end. And then because I released my mind from that, and I didn't realize it at 19 years old what I was doing, then I just had to make it work. Because I was poor, I was going to an expensive college, I was 16 hours away during school year. I had to make some money. And so then I started actually listening. Up to that point, every time my sales manager would try to give me advice, I would give him excuses. And after that, I'm like, I don't have time for excuses. I got to learn. So I'll do whatever you tell me to do. And that really seemed to work out. So perseverance and willing to actually listen and learn really transformed that whole experience for me.
Going forward, graduating.
Yeah.
First job out of college.
Yeah.
We laugh about it because we've shared this amongst ourselves, but.
Yeah. So, I was not great at selling cookware in the beginning, and then over time got a lot better at it. And I kind of got the bug for entrepreneurship. I kind of got the bug for managing my own schedule and dictating my own outcomes. And I really enjoyed that. And at the time, I was running a program where we hired college students in the summer and gave them an opportunity to learn how to sell and how to talk to people and to do that. And I kind of fell in love with it. And like I said, I met my wife through that program. And so I decided after college to continue selling cookware, and was never would have imagined that would have taken me on the ride that it has. But what I tell a lot of people all the time, I just outlasted everybody else that I was working with. And so I continued selling cookware. And then in 2002, my wife decided for us that we would be leaving the company we were selling for and start our own. And we literally started a cookware company in my parents' basement in 2002. And that's led us now to where we're working with Heritage Steel in Clarksville and making great pots and pans.
So let's go to that company.
Yes, sir.
Starting it in the basement. I think some people see the end result that now you're here in Cookeville, you're producing American-made cookware.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen overnight. So let's talk about working out of your parents' basement and what that looked like, and tell them some of this. You have some really cool people that you've met along the way because you sold cookware and knives.
Yeah, I absolutely have. And so we'll start with what it was like starting a company in my parents' basement. I mean, going back to your mom and dad, you'd gone to a great university, they had supported you, and you'd go back and kind of sit down and say, hey, I've left the company that I'm working for. I have nothing, but I'd like to borrow my old room, which was our basement, to start a company. It was in less than 300 square feet total. And I can't believe they said yes. They did. I remember when I would hire folks, I'd have to ask my dad to turn down the television because I'd go upstairs to the kitchen table to have a meeting and to hire people. And, and we ran a company out of there. I remember setting up folding tables in our driveway to package up cookware to ship out to customers, and filling our cars full of boxes and driving them to the Office Depot and the Staples back then to send them out in UPS. And it was not easy, but it was a ton of fun. And we just continued to do that. And then ultimately what ended up happening is we grew that business substantially and got a chance to invest into the New Era Cookware Company, which is in Clarksville. And so around 2008, we invested money into that factory, became a minority shareholder, and that's where I'm still today. And so we're still there.
We'll talk about the quality of cookware that you're producing, and again, why is it in every box store in America now?
Yeah, well, I tell you, it really dates back to my business partner. There's a couple of us that are shareholders, but my business partner recently passed, Donald Henn. He had started a direct sales company as well 60 some odd years ago. And he was with a company called Vollrath. Vollrath is one of the largest commercial cookware and suppliers to restaurants in the United States. And in the early 1980s, they decided they wanted to exit the residential line, and Donald bought the residential lines from them. And we make multi-clad, high-end stainless steel in Clarksville, and we have had a dedication to doing it that way for a long time. And we're really proud of it. I mean, I love the fact that we make it here in the U.S., that we make it in Tennessee, that we work really hard to keep our employees well paid, to keep them around. And it's a family, we're a 3-generation family-owned business. I'm the only one that's not in the family. And I'm super, super proud of that. To think about taking my dad and walking him through the facility now to see our beautiful new Italian presses that make a part every 7 seconds versus, how many ever years it was ago now, 20 years ago, sitting in my basement with a telephone and a folding table. It has been an incredible ride, to say the least.
Well, we're going to take a break and be right back.
Hi, this is Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb and Associates. You might know me as the voice of the Blue Raiders, but I want to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Whether you're buying or selling, it's time to choose Chip. Do you have a growing family and need to upsize? Are you an empty nester now and need to downsize? Are you thinking of selling your current home but just worried you can't find something else? Well, it's time to choose Chip. I'm looking to be your trusted advisor in real estate. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb and Associates.
Hey guys, let's talk game. Practices recently wrapped up with the annual spring game and the team has some promising new recruits to watch this fall. But how's your game? Testosterone therapy can help you get back to your best, and there's no better time to get started than this spring. I recommend Low T Center. It's where I get my levels checked. If you often feel tired, have noticed weight gain and loss of muscle mass, you may have low T levels. So go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Summer is heating up, just like the deals at Omaha Steaks. From perfectly aged steaks to juicy burgers, Omaha Steaks is your summer grilling headquarters. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale at omahasteaks.com for exclusive, unconditional money-back guaranteed packages starting at $99. Plus, get an extra $10 off with promo code SIZZLE at checkout. Visit omahasteaks.com, code SIZZLE for an extra $10 off. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale today, before these deals go up in smoke.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
When is the right time to move to Adams Place?
I have enjoyed Adams Place much better than living in my house after my wife passed away. What you're doing is you're getting people that you can interact with and have fun. Consider coming to Adams Place.
Hi, this is Terry Deal at Adams Place. Call me for more information about Adams Place. Phone 615-904-9111. Adams Place, across from Walmart.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by the law offices of John Day and AmeriCare Pest Control.
I've got pests. AmeriCare is Rutherford County's #1 choice in pest control, and it's simple to see why. After calling 893-7111, their staff came to my house 8 years ago when I had an insect problem. They looked at the situation, showed me the areas and what they'd recommend to resolve the problem. After treatment and with quarterly checks, I'm bug, critter, and creepy crawly free. Thanks, AmeriCare.
Call the best of the best to get rid of your pest.
AmeriCare, 893-7111.
WGNS Good Neighbor Events checks out those Independence Day celebrations. Smyrna has the earliest Independence Day celebration. It's on Wednesday night from 5 until 9 over at the Lee Victory Recreation Park. Enjoy food, drink, fireworks, live music, vendors, and so much more. That's Wednesday night, July 3rd, 5 until 9 at the Lee Victory Recreation Park in Smyrna. Then on Thursday, the 4th of July, the granddaddy of them all, Rockvale's 4th of July celebration. It's the oldest one in the county and began back in 1927. The Rockvale Independence Day celebration is at the Rockvale Community Center. If you live in the northern end of the county, Laverne's Independence Day celebrations start at 6 o'clock Thursday night. That's at the Veterans Memorial Park. Murfreesboro has its annual Celebration Under the Stars at the Fountains at Gateway. A live DJ from 4:30 to 7:30, and at 7:30 live entertainment with Craig Campbell. The fireworks show is at 9. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor Events.
Rutherford weather.
We'll see sunny skies here for this afternoon, a high in the mid-80s. Tonight, mostly clear, low near 61. Tuesday, sunshine, high around 94 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS.
Currently, it's 69.
Broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios. MTE serves members with more than just electricity. Their community outreach team works with schools, parents, and students to provide engaging and unique learning experiences. MTE serving to make life better since 1936.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
Welcome back into the Roundtable. I'm Andy Herzer, founder and executive director of First Shot, and my shameless plug always comes now. We have our Autumn with the Alley, which is a food tasting along with bourbon, wine, and cigar. You can go to our website, firstshottn.org. It funds our STEM program, both in Smyrna and in Murfreesboro, we have partnered with the Boys and Girls Club. So if you'd like to find out more information, go to our website, or you can give me a call at 615-631-5312. Bobby, again, for those that don't know, he's the vice president of Heritage Steel. It's been a great journey for you. There's been some headaches along the way with growth, but tell how you transitioned from simplicity into Heritage Steel. And I want you to also talk about the two of the coolest chefs that you ever got to meet because of what you've done.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been an amazing transition. Now Heritage Steel, it's a little bit about our company to give you some perspective. We own a few different brands, and we have manufactured for some brands. So one of the coolest experiences was that we were vendor one for a company called Made In. Made In is now one of the largest direct-to-consumer via the internet brands out there. We no longer make product for them, but we did for a long time. We helped them design their stainless steel product and watched them grow into kind of a Wall Street darling over the last 10 years, or I guess 8 years now. So that was a lot of fun, but really we transitioned from in-home sales into a traditional retail company. The way that really began is we launched a knife line back in 2008 called Hammerstall, because in 2008 there was a huge hiccup in the market. Everyone that was around then experienced that. And so we needed something that was less expensive, that was, easier to purchase. And so we launched a cutlery line, and we started doing Food and Wine, the magazine, their shows all over the country. And my wife and I ended up meeting a lot of great chefs, everyone from, Bobby Flay to Tim Love to Marcus Samuelson to whomever, it's a whole laundry list of folks. Daniel Ballou, and made friends through just, hanging out and enjoying one another and learning about food and the culture that is in the culinary world. And in that process, we became aware that our cookware was really, really good. And we had some really famous chefs. Daniel Ballou is probably one that I gave him some cookware, and he was like, man, this is absolutely amazing cookware. He's like, I don't like your handles, but I love your cookware. And he gave me the confidence to change our handle system and to lead us down that pathway of going traditional retail. And now we're in about 350 independent retailers nationwide. We do a tremendous amount of business on Amazon and on our own website. And we have two primary brands right now on the cookware line, our Heritage Steel Titanium series, and then we have a new series with a media company called Eater. Eater is the largest online culinary website in the United States with over 17 million visitors a month. And we were their very first licensed program. And so we're really proud of it. We're really excited about the future. We're excited about making product in the United States. And so it's a good time to be in cookware.
So with that, I call you're one of the guys I call when I have an issue that I want to help solve. I think you are a great mentor. So let's kind of shift gears. You have mentored a lot of kids. You just showed me off air one of your pitchers throwing his first pitch since he's come off Tommy John. Talk about how you got involved locally in the football and baseball, and why do you do it?
Yeah, well, it all comes back to when I was a kid. I was a Antioch Creve Hall kid, and I had a lot of men and women invest time and energy into me with nothing expected in return. My mom passed a couple of months ago, and one of the coolest experiences there was so many of my former coaches showing up to pay respects. It was just outstanding. And so growing up and having the opportunity to go to a great university because of baseball, quite frankly, and because of those men and women that invested into me, I feel like I owe it to continue to mentor kids. So I got involved coaching youth sports when my kids were little. I coached at Smyrna Youth Football, was on the board there for quite a long time. I coached a travel program here locally, and now I currently coach at Central Magnet with Jason Patterson and Mark Kirksey, two incredible men. I love coaching with those guys and working with them, and watching these young people develop and get opportunities to play collegiate sports or just to have a better approach mentally to life. It has been incredibly rewarding to me, and to get that text to see this young man who's been battling an injury to get his first day back throwing on flat ground is really exciting for me, and I know he's fired up. And to get a text from a kid that, I'm a 49-year-old man, that's pretty awesome. So
when you look at this, and it's just not you're teaching them skills. Talk about the mental, especially for baseball. I think there's such a the mental aspect. How do you take a kid and evolve that?
Yeah, so I think the one thing is there's a couple of things to, I think, life and baseball in particular that allow you to be successful. One is just self-honesty. I think, when I was coaching young kids, I would often tell moms that were there, I'm like, look, I am not built like a mom. I don't think like a mom. I'm a coach. And so I'm probably not going to talk to your child like I'm his mother. I'm going to talk to them like I'm his coach. So I'm incredibly honest with the kids that I coach. I tell them when they're bad, and I tell them when they're good. And so I think for a young person to hear very clearly, hey, that is not what you're doing right now, is not going to allow us to win or you to be successful, and be crystal clear. And I also talk to them often about, like, look, I'm not just interested in your effort. I want you to give great effort, but that's expected. I need results. And so I know that's a little bit different mentality than a lot of folks think about in youth sports, because it's not just about effort for me. I need them to perform, and they need to understand that in life there's going to come moments where you have to execute. It's not just putting out your best effort for the day. You've got to make the play. You got to catch the ball, got to make the tag, got to make the pitch. And so I think that's one big thing. The other thing that we teach our guys constantly is that you don't have to be great all the time. In baseball in particular, you don't have to be better than the guy on the mound. You just got to be better than the guy on the mound one pitch. So refocusing and getting ready for the next pitch, forgetting what's happened in the past, resetting ourselves, and just being better and being ready for that next pitch is probably the thing that allows folks to be most successful. If you guys watch the College World Series, Andy, you would have noticed every single one of those hitters on both Texas A&M and Tennessee, after every single pitch, they would step, they keep one foot in the box, but they take their bat, they hold it straight up, they find a focal point on that bat, and they reset their minds, because they've got to forget that last pitch and get into the moment of the next pitch just to try to compete in that particular part of the game.
And it quite honestly, for me, it's what God asks us. Is we forget about our past, right? We've given that to Him, and our future is secured. So all we have to do is live in the present. Just think about how much easier our life gets, and it holds true, I think, for almost all sports, Bobby. But that's how I train kids that way. Hey, you're going to worry about that last shot you take, or you're going to worry about the one that's coming down the road, or you're going to worry about this one.
That is so critical, and I think there is a huge spiritual component to it, and I think you hit the nail on the head, Andy. Live where your feet are. Be present where you are. I had a good buddy of mine that coached for a long time in high school, and what he told me one time, and I'll never forget this, is, he said I'd be in the third base box and my mind would start wandering, like, where are we going to, what are we going to do in the seventh inning? What are we going to do in the sixth inning? He's like, he constantly had to ground himself saying, okay, as a coach, what can I do on this next play to help us win? And so sometimes I think we get so focused on the future, and we get so focused on what has happened in the past, that we forget to be present where our feet are. And it's important in sports, it's important in business, it's important spiritually, and I think it's important with our family and our love lives and everything. Just be where you are.
I think the other thing that you said, and I think the group of five that we called it, helped me to listen. You said you learned that in selling cookware door to door. Talk about the importance and how I think in America it's a lost art.
Yeah. I appreciate the men that were in that group, because I think we all challenged each other to really listen and to be empathetic, but also to put ourselves truly in another man's shoes or another person's shoes to see it from their perspective. The one quote that has always stuck with me is that if you're thinking about what you're about to say, if you're thinking about the response you're going to give to someone, you're not listening to what the other person is saying to you. So I think deliberately, cognitively, intentionally hearing the other individual, making sure that you understand what they're trying to say, because oftentimes what we hear versus what has been said are two different things. So being intentional about listening is critical, and you just never know what the words you're saying could impact someone. And Andy, I'll give you a great example. I was 13 years old. I was playing for Criswell Freeman. It was a great travel program, and I was middle tiered on our pitching staff at that time. And we were playing in Cincinnati. And at that time in my life, I felt like that I was kind of a crafty righty. I didn't throw very hard. And I came out of that game, had a really successful game, and Jim Owens said to me, "Hey, man, I don't know where it came from. My goodness gracious, you're throwing the ball so hard. That's unbelievable." And from that moment on, for whatever dumb reason, I believed him. And I believed that I could throw the ball hard. You know what? For the rest of my career, until I graduated college, I was a hard-throwing righty. And up till then, I never viewed myself that way. But I thank Coach Owens to this day for saying something into me that I could believe at that moment, because it changed my life forever.
I will tell you what I got as an off into our group of 5.
Yes, sir.
You 4 all journaled. Talk about the importance of journaling when you're an entrepreneur, because all 5 of us were. You guys taught me to journal, and again, it's changed my perspective on things as I look back in my journals.
So going back to the statement that you made earlier about being present where you are. So I do journal. I also use a focused planner every day. The idea is I get up in the morning, I get my cup of coffee, I have some prayer time, and then what I like to do after that is I like to just dump. Like, I just lay out on paper, I have no order or thoughts, but it's just a brainstorm of getting out everything that I feel like I need to do for the day, and just absolutely just making a long list. And then from there, I sit down and try to organize some thoughts, like, where am I emotionally? Where am I spiritually? Where is my business? And I like to get a few paragraphs, a few sentences on paper. I have no structure to this in terms of like, hey, I need to get 2 pages done, but just kind of lay out a long list and then take a few minutes and put together a couple of paragraphs thinking about what I'm doing. And it has kept me present in the moment. And it keeps me from wandering throughout the day. It keeps me from getting too concerned about the future or too concerned about the past. And I think it's a huge thing for me. And I think David Hoke and Shane Reeves substantially for that. They really, really made me consider journaling and really led me to doing it on a more consistent basis.
All right, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Sometimes your phone breaks.
Ugh.
Dude.
What the?
Oh, seriously? Hey, life happens. But at Verizon, we got you. Trade in any phone from our top brands in any condition and get a great deal on iPhone 15 with an unlimited Ultimate plan. And turn
No!
Into, oh, yeah! Only on Verizon.
Hey, we get it. Life's busy, and the last thing you need to worry about is where your trash goes and how much it's going to cost you. With Middle Point Landfill, Rutherford County residents receive free disposal.
Mike Klassen with Middle Point Landfill.
We pride ourselves in making your waste one less worry. Take it to the curb, and we'll take it from there.
Middle Point Landfill is an environmentally safe, economical, and reliable solution for solid waste for Rutherford County.
Learn more about us at middlepointlandfill.com.
This is Kim Dunaway from Sunshine Nutrition Center. You hear me on Monday mornings at 7:20 talking about how to lead a healthier lifestyle. We carry supplements, personal care, and grocery items at both our Murfreesboro and Smyrna locations, family owned and operated since 1989.
At Bud's Tire Pros, we sell all major brands of tires, and we invite you to stop by today for that next set of tires. Or maybe you need us to check out your vehicle before you head out of town. We offer everything from brakes to batteries, alignments, and more. No appointments necessary. Just stop on by.
I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstirepros.tn.com.
One thing that summer brings is weddings and then anniversaries to celebrate. Come visit us at Bell Jewelers to celebrate those special moments. If you're stumped and don't know what to get your loved one for their anniversary, come visit us at Bell Jewelers and let any of our associates help you with ideas. So it's kind of a cool way to commemorate those amazing years that you've spent together. Come see us at Bell Jewelers, 821 Northwest Broad Street, across from Toots.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki from News Radio WGNS with a reminder that you can download the Weatherology app on your phone for the forecast at your fingertips. We can even send weather bulletins to your cell phone. Download the Weatherology app today. It's free in the App Store.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
Welcome back into the Roundtable in WGNS. I'm Andy Herzier, founder and executive director of First Shot. Welcome back in, my good friend Bobby Griggs. We're going to launch your mentorship because I have for years now been said you're one of the brightest guys I've ever been around. And people need what you're teaching, what you learned and going through. So let's talk about how you want to mentor young men and women in entrepreneurship and what that would look like.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm really thankful that you would say something like that. I mean, it's amazing to me every time you say that you've learned something from me, Andy. I truly have looked up to you from the moment that we've began a relationship. I love what you do with First Shot. I can't tell you how many parents and kids that I have ran into that you have changed their lives. And it is, you're doing God's work there. You're doing great community work there. You have altered the face of Rutherford County. And I truly do mean that and believe it. So for you to suggest that I should be mentoring people is, it's really special to me. Here's what I feel like I can offer someone, be a young person or whatever. One is a commitment to the task at hand, and to sit down with them and really clarify where they're trying to head. I can walk them through challenges, the challenges of starting out small, having no money, being deficit financed, how to walk through that. I can work them through evolving into a much larger, bigger brand. I've now helped several companies, go from zero to fairly substantial consumer brands, developing product with them. That's been a lot of fun. So I think what it would look like is the first of all is just an exploratory session of finding out where they are, where they want to go. And then from there, building a plan to keep them crystallized and focused on what they want to do. And then trying to remove the fray. I mean, the biggest problem for most entrepreneurs is they like, and I am guilty of this, they like new shiny things. And you often need a mentor out, no matter who you are. If you're Tiger Woods or if you are the best pitcher out there, you got to have a coach that can continue to refocus on what's important, to remove the forest and get you focused back on that tree. And I think that's really important. And I would love to do that for some folks if I could help them. I love to see people win.
You know, but you've always been that guy that will take and carve out time. You're a busy man.
Yeah.
It sometimes takes us a month before we can grab a cup of coffee. When you look at that, I think there's young entrepreneurs that are out there listening. And when my granddaughter graduates from her entrepreneurship, it's twofold for me, Bobby. I think it's not only are you going to give them how to navigate the waters, but I think spiritually you're going to help navigate them in those waters where they can bring it together and they don't check it at the door like I did from all my college coaching career. I checked God at the door, and how dumb was I? And that's why I had such a weak college coaching experience, because he wasn't with me. Talk about spiritually how that will look and how it's guided you in your walk in your business.
Yeah, I mean, Andy, I'm just as guilty. I've had moments in my life where I've really been connected with my relationship with the Lord, and I've had moments where I have wandered away. What is amazing is that he will never forget you, and he continues. It's kind of like, it's no different than watching my son go off to college. He may not see me every day, and he may not hear me every day, and he may make some good decisions and some bad decisions when he's in Texas or wherever he may end up now. But I am always there watching and waiting and ready to intercede the moment he needs, and intercede at times where he may not even know that I'm interceding on his behalf, because there is a tremendous love that we have for our kids, and that love is so inconsequential compared to the love that Christ has for us. And so I think that what I would offer is to continually bring them back to the fact of, why are we doing this? Going through this period with my parents, moving them into our home with us, and going through the transition of life for my mom, it has really brought me back to a point of, why do we do all of this? And if we're not feeding into other people, if we're not making our environments and communities better, why are we doing it? Making pots and pans is just making pots and pans. But loving on our staff, loving on our customers, loving on the stores, and planting a little bit of Christ in every one of them every day leaves a lasting mark. And so I would constantly bring it back to that, of why are you doing this? And ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're truly asking why, Christ is always going to emerge, because he is the ultimate of reason why. And I am thankful for him. I am thankful that he has never forsaken me, even though I am absolutely unworthy in so many ways. But he loves me regardless, because he is my Father.
So here's my pitch for you, and then we're going to end up on a little bit different topic.
Yeah.
But again, here's what I know you're going to get from Bobby Griggs if you want to be mentored. You're going to have a man of integrity, a man that'll show up and be present, a man that will not leave you. He'll be committed. And most of all, he'll help guide you spiritually. So it's why I've always said that I think you should be mentoring people. I'll brag on you. Again, if you want one of the smartest guys to ever be in the room and he'll talk the least, it'll be Bobby about himself. He won't do that. So I get to. Bobby, let's talk about that period of moving, because I think a lot of people are having to go through it. I've got a buddy, just my best friend, long time, since 4 years old. His dad just passed last night. He was Coach Hutton to me. He was my athletic director when I was growing up. Talk about bringing your parents in and how tough it was too. It's not easy. So talk about that experience. Talk about where your dad is right now.
Yeah, it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done. And I'm incredibly gracious and thankful for my wife and my kids for allowing us to do this. It has been a big moment of service in our life that we really did not prepare for. But in 2020, my mom had really progressed with COPD. It became really obvious that she couldn't continue to live on her own. And to have that conversation with your parents where they're not ready to hear that was incredibly challenging. But I have to tell you, it has been unbelievably rewarding. And, what I would probably say is, and I said this at Mom's service and her celebration, is there have been some really ugly moments, Andy. Like, if anyone's ever going through this, I promise you it is not easy, and it is hard. And there were some ugly moments, and there were times of incredibly high frustrations for my wife and I, and I'm sure for them as well. But when it's all over, and this is the biggest lesson that I've learned. So the aggravation that I've had at times, or the frustration or the inconvenience, do you know what all of those things are now, Andy? All of those things now are funny stories. And what all of those things, and this is probably the first time in my life that I've truly understood I thought I knew what this word meant, but now I think I really do. It all reverts to love. And Christ says that in the Bible multiple times, that in the end, that is all there is love. And so all of the anger, frustration, aggravation, annoyances, things that are difficult, later on, as you move in time, those moments, as long as you don't let the darkness creep in, those moments turn into laughter. And then that laughter turns into great joy, and that joy turns into love. And I am super thankful for that, even for the last moments that I had with Mom. And it was incredible how sweet of a time that was. And a lot of heartache. It still, to this day, is a great, great memory of love. And I am incredibly thankful for that.
Talk about your dad now, what he's walking through. And
yeah, so I think
you just got back from the Alaska trip.
Yeah, we did. So, I don't know that my father, I love my dad's generation. I really respect them. And I say this with a little bit of reservation, but I think it's really difficult, in particular for men of that generation, to move on independently. My dad was with my mom for well over 50 years, and he is lost. And he is trying to find himself again in his mid-80s, and it is hard emotionally for him. And the good thing is that we are blessed with a great relationship with our kids and our family with him. So he has places like on a baseball bat where you can look and refocus your mind to get back in the moment. He has that where he can reset himself. But to say that it's been easy, it is not. It was a great blessing that we were allowed to go and take a trip to Alaska and give him something to look forward to. But we've got a long road ahead. I think he's got a game plan, and we have a game plan to intercede on his behalf to help him stay focused and to find new areas of joy in his life, because he misses mom a lot. It's a hard period of life, but it's ultimately at the end of the road, Andy. In 5 years from now, these hard moments will turn into sweet joy, which will be another remembrance of love at the end of the day.
Bobby, let's talk about how they can get in contact with you.
Sure.
And hey, believe me, I've seen the cookware. It's one of a kind. And again, made here in Tennessee, made in the USA. We don't hear that very often.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's not coming from China.
Me too.
So talk about how they can get in contact with you, and if they also want to sit down and explore what it would mean to be mentored by you.
Yeah. So, one, I had no idea that we were going to talk about me mentoring, and I'm incredibly overwhelmed by that, and I'm thankful for it. But you can reach me pretty simply. You can visit our website, which is heritagesteel.us. You can reach me personally at Griggs at Heritage Steel. That's STEEL.us. And then you're more than welcome to reach out to me on my mobile, which is 615-394-6605. I will certainly just leave me a message or send me a text, and I'll get back to you for sure.
Well, to one of my dear friends, thanks for spending the hour with us. And this is Andy Herzer, founder and executive director of First Shot, and we bid you goodbye.